Hi besties, welcome back to my channel, or hi, my name is Stacy if you're new here. So today's video is very exciting because we're trying out the new Patrick Ta foundation. So this is a cream and powder duo. It looks like this. And this is what I have on my face right now. But yeah, so in this video I do a first impressions of this, just let you guys know how it performs on my face, and then I also include a wear test at the end. So if that sounds good to you, then just keep on watching. But before we get into it, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more content like this, because it really helps out my channel and it would really mean a lot to me. And let's just get right into the video. Okay, so ignore my hair because I just got out of the shower, but this will be good to test some redness because I get red when I'm in the shower, so we'll see how well this baby covers that up. And I have mine in the shade Fair too, so this is supposed to be neutral. Also, I didn't get the new brush that comes in this collection, so I'm just gonna use this Merit foundation brush. I'm gonna use a brush on this side. Oh, so it actually has more coverage than I was expecting. Probably because I'm using a brush. Also, I think the shade match is really good. I use their online foundation finder matching thing. Feels extremely thin and lightweight, like I don't feel anything on the face. It's not super greasy or anything like that. And actually the coverage seems pretty buildable because it has more coverage than what I was expecting from like a thin balm Your Skin But Better foundation. The only thing that I'm not liking so far is, and this might be because I'm using a brush, it kind of emphasizes my little peach fuzz. I do try to shave my face, but you know, sometimes you can't keep up to date with those things. Or like you're not gonna shave your face the second peach fuzz grows back. So actually, I think the more I'm buffing it in, the less that phenomenon is happening. Like it felt like it was sitting off of my skin, but as I'm pressing it more, it seems to like sink in. So I think that's not gonna be an issue. And let's just tap over it with my sponge to like really help that sink in. Okay, yeah, so that took away some of the coverage, but I feel like that made it look a lot better to me. So yeah, this is a very natural Your Skin But Better foundation. You can see this half of my face. So it did perfect everything because you can see like there's still redness here on this blank side, and you can see how everything is just evened out, but it still looks like my skin. Ooh, that's looking pretty good in the viewfinder. Also, I only applied it on half of my nose, and my nose is kind of like a problem area, like I have bigger pores there. And I feel like it actually really blurred this half of the pores. So that's a good sign. For my left side, I'm gonna try to use just a beauty sponge because normally I use a sponge. I tend not to use foundation brushes. We're gonna just take some like this. I feel like with the sponge, it's probably gonna take longer to build up. Oh wait, actually, it actually has pretty good pigmentation off the bat, unless you only like use one dip, but I kind of go in like this, but not like super hard or anything. So I take a few swipes. The coverage with the sponge is pretty good as well. Or it's like about the same, I would say. The shade match is like really good for my skin. I think part of it is because it is like a sheerer product. It just like blends with your skin tone really well, I feel like. So I can get how this is like a flexible product shade wise. And I feel like the sheer to medium coverage makes sense to me. Probably like on the lighter side of medium. I feel like you could build it up to a medium, but I feel like at that point it might not look its best because it's not like meant to be like a full medium. It's meant to be like a light to light medium. Okay, so I would say I built it up to like a lighter medium, but like it has enough coverage that it's definitely corrected like the redness I had earlier from the shower and everything, and all like my little hyperpigmentations. The only thing is, I'm not sure if you guys can see, but I feel like it's kind of clinging to some, I don't know, like little dead skin cells I have on the top of my skin. I don't know if you guys can see any of it on my cheeks. It's like really not obvious. It's only like when I'm holding up the mirror like this close and like really looking. But I feel like there's like a patch right here where it's kind of like picking up on like the skin. So I do feel like if you have like dry, patchy, or like scaly skin, I feel like it's not gonna flatter that. But anyways, Patrick Ta says to like moisturize well before you use this. I feel like that makes sense to me because you don't want to have any like scaly patches. It's not gonna like glide over that. I will say though, what's really impressive about it is that it literally looks like my skin, but better. I feel like for such a thin foundation, it has more coverage than I would have expected, which is a good thing because I like it when I can like see that it perfected something, and this foundation has done that, but still like without looking like foundation. Also, it's not greasy at all. It didn't really add too much glow. I mean, there's like some, but like my skin was already well moisturized. But yeah, I would definitely consider this like a natural finish. So yeah, I'm really liking how it's looking. So this is the full just foundation look. Okay, so now I'm just gonna go off camera and then do the rest of my base products, and then at the end I'm gonna add this powder. So I'll meet back here with you guys. Okay, actually just kidding. I only added concealer, that's it. Conceal my under eyes, and then I have this more intense redness under my nose, and I concealed like right there basically. But you can see like once I spot concealed, it like now it's looking very perfected, but it's still my skin but better. I want to do the powder now just so like it's not going to be influenced by other powder products I put on top, because I want to like use a powder blush and stuff. So I'm going to use this flat top brush and just take some of the powder And the powder is basically translucent with like very light pigment, he said. So I'm just gonna, and I think he meant for it to you to only use in your T-zone. So I am like setting my under eyes a bit, and then right around my nose because that's where I get the oiliest. But whoa, that definitely is very blurring. I have to say that this foundation and this powder is very blurring because like all the pores on my nose disappeared on this side, and like the pores that I have next to my nose disappeared. It made it very flawless. So I'm loving that. If you have pores, this foundation combo is wonderful so far. No, because that powder took the pore blurring to another level. Like, I'm being really up close. And I think that you guys can't see any pores, or like I can't. So, and then I'm gonna take some in between my eyebrows because I get oily here. I usually like just leave the perimeters of my face unset, so that's what I'm gonna do. And for reference, I have a normal to oily skin type. I'm normal like on the sides of my face, and then like the very center strip essentially is oily. So we'll see how this foundation holds up throughout the day. I'm gonna do at least a 6-hour wear test. I'm not sure if I can do 8, but... Oh, also I wanted to mention that I had this weird patch here, but I just patted it in again with my brush, and then the patch disappeared. So I feel like that was a me problem, and like not fully blending it out, even though like I did go over it. But I think you want to be careful of like not adding too much product at once, like in one place, and you want to like kind of pat it out in like a tapping motion to really like help sink it into the skin, because otherwise it will kind of like sit on top. So yeah, just work in like lighter layers and build it up to your desired coverage, and make sure to like pat it into your skin really well. But like once you do that, like here is the finished foundation, concealer, and powder all together. But you can see like I'm basically looking flawless, but again, like it doesn't look like I did that much to my face. I'm actually really into this. Especially after the powder, it like blurred over everything so well. Like it literally looks like I photoshopped my face. Like, excuse me? But not in like a fake looking way, just like in a perfect looking way. Anyway, so I'm gonna go off camera and do the rest of my makeup, and then I'll be back to show you the finished face like with a full face of makeup on top, and meet up before we do the wear test. Now I'm back with a full face of makeup on. I feel like the foundation looks really good with like a full like soft glam look that I have going on today, as well as a more natural makeup look. So I feel like this foundation is very versatile. I'm really liking it so far. Let me just show you close-ups of everything. So like around my nose, everything is poreless. The cheek area, I told you I fixed it, so now it's looking a lot better. It meshed with the blush really well. My forehead, like everything is just looking good. So I currently don't have any complaints. So now I'm gonna do about a 6-hour wear test. I'll try to get longer, but I feel like it's probably gonna end up being 6 hours. So I'll let you guys know. And I feel like you kind of know how it wears like after 6 hours. Like you see how it goes. So I'll meet you guys back here after my wear test, and I'll wrap up my final thoughts then as well. Okay, hello besties, I'm back, and it's actually been 7 hours, so I managed to pass the 6-hour mark. It's literally 1 a.m. right now. Let me just show you guys. Night owls rise up. Anyway, so this foundation has been on for 7 hours, and I wore it like out. I went out to dinner with my friends. So off the bat, I can tell that I'm getting a little bit shiny. Like it's more shiny than I would be comfortable with, like if I still had to go out and see people. But honestly, the worst part is just like right here in this little nose crevice, like because my oils are like gathering there. But everywhere else, it's looking pretty good. So let me zoom you guys in. This is the most zoomed in my camera is gonna get. So let's just do a little overview. So we have the forehead is definitely shinier. Like basically any powdery quality I had earlier is completely gone. Like it doesn't look like I powdered at all, if that makes sense. But obviously given that I have an oilier skin type, that's gonna happen, period. Yeah, forehead, it's just like looking a little bit dewy, but like forehead is honestly not bad. And then let's look at the cheeks. I love the dew that's going on here. And I added a powder blush, the Pat McGrath blush. So like none of this dew is from my blush. I didn't add any highlight or anything. So this is from all the foundation itself. Like this is looking fantastic. And same with this side. So really the only place that's kind of showing some wear is like right in my little nose crevices. You guys can see. And that's usually like where foundation wears the worst on me anyways. Yeah, so if you have oily skin, you're gonna wanna use a more heavy duty setting powder. But I feel like that's to be expected. But honestly, like it didn't break up at all, which I think is like a really key component to having a long lasting foundation. So like I'm actually very satisfied with the way this wore. So now I wanna see like how well we could possibly revive this foundation if I was gonna go out at 1 a.m. So I'm gonna just take my beauty sponge with no extra product on it. And we're just gonna pat in my oily places, like right here, and I'm gonna tap on my forehead a little bit. So that just like absorbed a lot of the shine, and hopefully you guys can see it's looking a lot better. Honestly, that pretty much fixed it. Does it look like I put this foundation on 7 hours ago? let me know, because I feel like it doesn't. Just for good effect, let's just go into the powder once again, and we will powder the side. This is what I would probably do if I needed to revive it. We'll see like how cakey it gets, if it gets cakey from like repowdering. So I just repowdered my T-zone. Only my T-zone, so only like around here and like a little bit on my chin and then on my forehead. Honestly, it's looking pretty much good as new to me. Like that blurring quality of that powder is really, really nice. Like my pores have once again disappeared. I'm actually obsessed. Something in this combination of this powder and this foundation is just giving like poreless blur. Wait, I'm actually really impressed with how that like revived, because I thought it was gonna get like, you know, like the teeniest bit cakey, because like usually it does, like if you're gonna add another layer of powder on top of like already worn foundation. It's actually not cakey in the slightest, guys. Let me zoom you guys out a little bit and wrap up my final thoughts. Oh yeah, also I'm in my PJs, so don't judge. Actually, for your convenience, I want to swatch this shade on my hand for you. This is the shade Fair 2. So I have the foundation swatched. It's kind of hard to see, but basically it's a little bit deeper than my hand, but my hand is like really freaking pale. So it's like the perfect face shade, basically. It's quite neutral, I would say. For being the second shade in the entire lineup, I feel like it's a little bit deep, but it's like the perfect shade for me, so bear in mind what that means for you. And also here's the powder on the bottom, but I don't know if you guys can see. It's kind of translucent, but it is a little bit whiter than my skin. But obviously, like, if you blend it in, it's not like really gonna look white. But I think it is like, it's a translucent slash kind of brightening powder. That's why Patrick Ta recommends to put it in your T-zone. So it's more of a brightening translucent powder. But yeah, it's pretty translucent. Like if I blend it out, you can't see anything. And yeah, I would say the equivalent is kind of like NARS Mont Blanc. Like that's my shade in NARS right now, so if you're my shade twin. So yeah, I definitely say this is pretty good for fair neutrals. I would say this is more like fair light neutral, because I consider myself like a fair light person. Yeah, so if you're like very fair, this is gonna be too deep. But yeah, if you're like my skin tone, I think this is the perfect shade. I also think it's really a well done neutral. Now to summarize, I'd say the two main qualities that stand out about this to me is one, like the undetectableness. It's a very skin-like foundation. If you're a skin tint kind of gal, I think you'll really like this. But even for a person like me, I'm not really the most into skin tints. Like they're not my favorite usually. My ideal is like a medium, maybe a slightly lighter medium foundation. So I have to say that even for me, I really like this. And I think because it is so buildable, like the skin tint girlies and the medium coverage girlies will both like this. If you're like a full coverage baddie, like you're obviously not gonna like this. It's not like meant for you. Just keep that in mind. But if you want just that really natural skin-like look, like really easy everyday go-to foundation, but you still want to have that buildable coverage for like certain areas where you may have more redness or problems, then I think this is a really good foundation. And then the second part that really surprised me about this foundation was how pore blurring it is. I was expecting more of like a balm type formula, and it is a balm. Like it kind of melts. Hopefully you guys can see how it melted a little bit already after I put my finger in it. So it is kind of emollient, but I feel like actually on the skin it has a more natural finish. Like it's not super dewy, not greasy at all. So even on people who have slightly oily skin like myself, I feel like this still works perfectly fine. If you're super oily, I don't think this is gonna be the ideal foundation for you, because as you saw, I did get kind of oily in my T-zone by the end of the day. But I also think that maybe if you're really oily and you use this, you could also just like set more of your face, and probably not with this powder, like a more heavy duty mattifying powder. I think that would work well, but I actually really am impressed with this powder. Obviously all powders are gonna like kind of blur your pores, but this powder and foundation combo, it literally like erased my pores. I feel like more so than at least a lot of the recent foundations I've been wearing, because it was enough for me to like be shocked by it, if that makes sense. Yeah, I'm really impressed with the buildable coverage yet undetectability and the pore blurring quality. And then as for the skin types I would recommend this towards, I think this would actually work for most skin types except the extremes. So if you're extremely dry and like have patchy, scaly skin, I think this will kind of catch on that. As I was like mentioning earlier, you kind of have to like press it into your skin to really get it to sink in. But like once it does that, it's like a second skin basically. So I feel like if you have like dry, crusty areas, I don't think it's gonna like do well over that. It doesn't like cover over that, if that makes sense. Which is also why I think Patrick Ta says to like moisturize very well before you go in with this. And then the second thing I want to say is obviously it is a more emollient foundation, so then if you're super oily, it's not going to work the best. I feel like anyone who's like maybe mildly dry to mildly oily will enjoy this. Okay, so that's about all my thoughts on the new Patrick Ta foundation. Honestly, Patrick Ta has done it again, and also like I've never tried a balm type foundation before. So I was very intrigued, and I feel like it exceeded my expectations of what I normally think of when I think of balm foundations. This is just like a very elevated, like well done, nuanced formula, I feel like. So that's about all my thoughts for today. I hope you guys found this video helpful, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more content like this, because it really helps on my channel, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye!